parents, they lived there after they moved up there from Indianapolis. They moved up there, I believe it was in 1976 or 77. They moved up prior to me being born. And we lived there for a few years. Interesting living there. Real interesting neighborhood, being that it was, back in the 70s and 80s when you had, not necessarily the crack epidemic was going on, but you had, the alcoholics and all the gang stuff and everything that was going on. It was interesting. Then we moved to the South Side for work because my mom was working on the South Side, so we found an apartment over there. And then we ended up moving back over to the North Side over on 60th and Wright, and that was pretty interesting because we lived right on the border of Wauwatosa. So that was real interesting because then I got a mix of friends, but I was still living in Milwaukee, so I had to attend Milwaukee schools in the Milwaukee School District. Back then, you couldn't participate like you can now. You can, even if you don't live in the district, you can participate in those sporting and programs and all that. But it's interesting because it was at that point, once I was in high school, I was always this kid. Well, actually, as I was in middle school, I was always this kid that really didn't pay attention in school. It just wasn't my thing. I did the best I could. My parents always told me, you need to do the best you can. And I was like, this is the best. C's, maybe a B here and there, but that was it. School really never interested me. That just wasn't my learning style. I just go sit and read a book and understand this or pay attention to what they talking about. That just wasn't my thing. So it was interesting times because at that time I didn't even know how to articulate that to my parents. But what I did do was I got involved in sports. That was my big thing. Sports was my outlet. So that was kind of like my fallback. My father worked. He worked sun up to sundown. My mother worked. She was working jobs 24 hours a day as a caretaker. So me and my sister were kind of like what you would call latchkey kids, in the sense we would